Hey guys, it's Nick. Today I'm doing a 6-month ownership review of my 2022 ZR2 Bison Colorado and kind of talk about some of the stuff I've done to it, the factory mods, the Bison versus a regular ZR2, so stick around. Both models, the ZR2 and the Bison, come with rock sliders. And you can see mine's kind of scuffed from getting in and out all the time. And then the ZR2 Bison, it has the rails by the bed. Guess they're called fender protectors, I believe. And they wrap up into the bed, or into the bumper rather. And then it's also got clevis hook mounts on the bumper from the factory, or from AEV, which is pretty cool. Alright, so let's look at the interior, because that's where you're going to be spending most of your time, especially if you're going to overland this. The first thing I absolutely hate is this stupid dial. I've hit it so many times with my knee and kicked it in 4-high or auto on accident. Once you're aware of it, it's not too bad, I guess. But big flaw, should have moved this somewhere else. Then next is the wireless charger. I don't know if anyone has a phone that would fit in this wireless charger. I know my S23 Ultra won't. Other than that, the interior is pretty basic, which is what I wanted. Mine's got the bigger fender flares, the AEV fender flares. Of course, it's got the different front bumper. And I think all the ZR2s come with this hood scoop, which is, I like it. So the AEV's got this pop bumper and the skid plates, metal. I don't remember what kind of metal. But with the Bison versus the ZR2, you get more skid plates. You get an engine, transfer cover, fuel tank, and diff skid plate, I believe. And again, you get a completely different bumper. The truck looks a lot different than a standard ZR2. It's the look I wanted. It's one of the reasons I went with this truck. Not just the extra protection, which is great, but I love the wheels. I love the big flares. I love the bumpers, both front and rear. And if you look, the truck's got a pretty decent stance. Don't set super wide, but it sets decent. When I was looking for one, this is the exact color I wanted. And this is a 2022 model. This is the last year of this body style, so that's kind of what I was going for, was the newest second gen I could find in a Bison. And if you look, they got a pretty decent amount of ground clearance. And so mine has 285, 70, 17. Factory is 265, 60. Factory's 265, 65, 18. To accomplish that, it has a leveling kit, and if you'll look, there's a little bitty spot that's been trimmed. This was done by the previous owner. It's never rubbed. I've taken it off-road quite a few times, but right there is where it's been trimmed, just barely. It doesn't have the AEV trim kit, but it's been trimmed in the back as well, just a little bit. So second gen ZR2s come with a 2-inch factory lift and 3.5 inches wider track than a regular Colorado. The Bison is not lifted any more than that. It's not leveled. This is an aftermarket leveling kit. And in order to accomplish a 33-inch tire, you have to trim here. And AEV makes a kit for that to trim the fender flares. And it has a piece of black, I believe, plastic that goes back over it. But they should have just done that from the factory. AEV had the opportunity to make those flares however they wanted. So I think that was bad on their part. They made these flares, and then I guess they realized the truck couldn't fit a 285 without a lift unless you trim the flares. So I don't know. That was dumb, on my opinion. These are pretty capable trucks right out of the factory. They have a pretty good amount of ground clearance with a leveling kit and 285s. They're very, very capable. They have front and rear lockers, selectable, and I mean, it's just a fun little truck. They get decent gas mileage. In the configuration it is now in this video, it was getting around 17 on the highway. So that's not bad for a little truck with 33s. They could have put a lower gear in them. That way you could run a bigger tire. I think that's another opportunity AEV missed. They could have put front and rear, 410s or something lower, and added a 285 with this package. That would have been cool. It would have looked great. One thing I didn't mention before is the Bison did get fog lights. That's a regular ZR2 didn't have. I don't know why GM didn't put fog lights in the regular ZR2, but these came with it. I think that was an awesome upgrade. Now let's talk about my bed rack. It is a Dayton Fab bed rack. It mounts to the bed in a few places, I believe 6 places. I got the Tough Box on there, a propane bottle on there. I have a little trimmer inside one of those Tough Boxes, and then jumper cables in another. Got the Rough Country tonneau cover that's currently rolled up. It fit on top of it really well, and it still rides pretty snug. I'll post a picture of that sometime with it rolled out. So that's pretty much all the stuff I've done as of this video. I've done other stuff which will be on my next videos. I'd like to eventually add a winch. I'm going to run a Badlands. A lot of people have done that on these, and they come out looking pretty good, and it's a lot more in the budget than some of the other brands that AEV recommends to run on these. In the next video, or one of the next videos, I'll talk about the rooftop tent I got. So I've added a rooftop tent since this video, and I've also had to order some CV axle boots because mine blew. So AEV sells some touch-up paint for this and for the bumper. They only sell those 2 colors, and you can also take that gray piece off and mount one that has like a bull bar. Probably gonna buy some of that touch-up paint to put on my rock slider. So the audio on this one was kind of weird, y'all. It's because I recorded it and the neighbor was mowing, and I didn't realize how much feedback I picked up, so I had to do a voiceover. That's another reason it took so long to post this video. But on one of the next ones, I'll talk about my diff drop that I'm adding from Level Up and upgraded boots, and or my rooftop tent. I don't know which one will be next. See y'all next time. Thank you.